extended apology for all the quality here. Well, BYC and Lescott FC are set to battle teams up in the 2018-2019 LFA Cup at the Anthony Tottenham Stadium on tomorrow. The academy has been invited United to participate in the 2019 USA Cup in America. That's the 35th edition. And in other development, Liberia's national team head coach Thomas Kojo has been handed a 4-match ban by the Confederation of African Football after using abusive language during the Liberia versus DR Congo match during the African Cup of Nations qualifier. This but many more developments all coming up right after this break. Welcome back and thanks for rejoining. We begin with the FA Cup, where the two top teams in this edition of the FA Cup, BYC and Lescott FC, are set to face each other in the FA Cup final slated for tomorrow at the Anthony Tottenham Stadium. The match was earlier slated for Buchanan Grand Bassa County, but was changed later due to some poor condition of the playing pitch at the Doris Williams Sports Pitch in Buchanan City, Grand Bassa County, where yesterday in the pre-match press conference, caretaker coach for BYC, Samuel Sumo, said his team is going into tomorrow's match to make sure that they retain their title. He spoke to journalists along with the team's captain, Sami Kamara.
We are into different competitions. Every cup final is different, and the league is different. We knew after 7 games, we lost the championship, so our whole attention is on the FA Cup. For the FA Cup, as I'm speaking with you, it will be different on Sunday. It will be very different because we are going all to retain our title.
Much respect to Lescott, but I can assure you as a captain, Sunday game will not be a walk in the park, but at the end of the day, you are some giant. Last time we started the league in the Super Cup, and we were victorious, and we were against Lescott. We ended the season with Lescott in the FA Cup, we were victorious. So it's not something that we are afraid of. These are games that BYC players are used to. A final match, every player on BYC are champions. Every player, one way or the other, won a championship. So going to the final, we are optimistic of a high gear of a positive victory tomorrow come Sunday. The league game is here for the FA Cup. This is a final match we are talking about. This is a game that will take a team to the CAF to represent Liberia to the CAF Confederation Cup. So it's not a game that we're going to make fun of. We are going with everything. We are going to build everything on stake. Our life is there. Our life is on the line. We see our friends sharing. We're ready to die and ready to go all up to get another video for BYC.
Well, at the pre-match press conference, Lescott FC was represented by one of its newest signed players, Edward Seribe, who joined the team from Jubilee FC, and he said tomorrow's match is an opportunity for him to wear his first medal since joining Lescott FC.
Like I said earlier, we are coming for revenge. We are coming for revenge. So because we get prepared, we are coming for revenge. We want to win this game. You know, it will be an advantage to most of us that are new on the team. We have, like for me, I'm not wearing a medal, so this one is an added advantage. So if I will play, or if I will be part of the team, I will put in my all, do my best to get my first medal. So coming to BYC, we coming with everything because that's the only thing we have now, the FA Cup. Our pride. Individually, we have to play for our pride. Collectively, as a team, we have to play for our pride.
What's about the chance to represent Liberia in the CAF Confederation?
That's all. It's all included. We have to play everything. We're not leaving anything because we don't have anything to play for at the end of the season. Only this FA Cup we have.
He's Edward Seribe, a midfielder from Lescott FC. Now, Africa has announced that Monrovia Football Academy has been invited to participate in the Minnesota, that's the USA Cup, after being invited by Minnesota United, a Major League Soccer club. The tournament will run from July 16 to the 20th of 2019. Monrovia Football Academy under 15 girls team will be the first Liberian team in history to participate in the USA Cup. The special invitees, that's our special invitees of Minnesota United. The Academy's under 15 girls team will also attend Minnesota United's friendly match versus England Premier League club Aston Villa on Wednesday, July 17. The academy will send 14 female students and 3 staff members on the trip. MFA is a flagship of Lead Africa and is the first school in Liberia to combine quality education with professional football training. The USA Cup attracts more than 1,000 teams every year, making it one of the biggest youth football tournaments in the world. And Israel national team head coach Thomas Kojod will be absent from the touchdown for Liberia's next 4 games in competitions under the auspices of the Confederation of African Football. This follows after CAF handed Coach Kojod a 4-game touchdown ban for immediate effect. Thus, with immediate effect, CAF 2's disciplinary board reached a decision at the Under-17 Africa Cup of Nations finals in Tanzania on April 24, 2019. According to the Liberia Football Association, CAF disciplinary board, in a communication addressed to Secretary General Azim Montgomery on May 15, said the suspension of Kojod's sent-off during the 2019 Africa Cup of Nations qualifier away to DR Congo on March 24. It may be recalled Coach Kojod was sent off by Senegalese referee Magdi Daid during the match against DR Congo in Kinshasa. In his match report, the referee said Coach Kojod was sent off in the 45th minute for abusive language. Coach Kojod's 4-game match ban will begin when Liberia take on Senegal in the 2020 African Nations Championship that's CHAN qualifier on July 26. Well, after this, we now move into our discussion segment where we're going to be talking about the build-up of tomorrow's finals. And I've invited into the studio Coach Emmett Glasgow, who is the head coach of Nimat FC and has also been following the National League as well. So right after this break, when we come back, we want to get into our discussion. Welcome back and thanks for joining. And like I said, I'm Coach Emmett Glasgow, one of Liberia's best coaches, and of course, the final, that's the FA between BYC and Liscard FC as they battle things up tomorrow. Either BYC retain the title or Liscard FC win another FA Cup title. Good afternoon, Coach Glasgow, and welcome to KMTV Sports Plus.
Good afternoon, Anthony. Thank you for affording me the opportunity to appear on your platform.
Now, tell us, how has it been as a coach for Nimat FC, newly promoted first division team, coming to the first division? It hasn't been that very good, but maintaining a 100% home record where Nimat FC won and drew all of their home games and yet to concede defeat at home, but unfortunately lost all of their away games. Tell us, how has it been?
Yeah, it's been a little bit difficult. I know that the question keep coming. You keep winning at home, maintaining your home record, and then you go out there, you know, see a lot of defeat. Most of our away games, at times when we going out, we get a lot of suspension from, most of the players, the first team players will be like on suspension and injury. We come in most of our away games, so we suffer a lot when we go away.
Now, tell us about your impression about the first division league as a newly promoted team. How do you look at the league season?
Yeah, first I would like to extend thanks and appreciation to the new administration. I think in my own opinion, I think they did very well for organizing this unique league. I think if you can recall, that's the first time Liberia, to organize a kind of league for teams to play midweek and play weekend, because most of our players are not, familiar with the kind of league. And it's been tough where you play on a Wednesday, then you get a game on Sunday. It's been very tough. You got players, you're not strong mentally, the team going to break down. So I just want to commend, all the teams that took part in the tournament, in the league. I think they did, very well for my own observation. And I think gradually as things go back, the way we started, we continue, I think we can go far.
Now, before going to tomorrow's FA Cup match, let's talk a bit about your team. You guys have already survived relegation, and you're going to your final game on Sunday. Tell us now, after surviving relegation, what next for the upcoming season?
Yeah, I think if you can recall, before the season began, I was out of the country, and the preparation was, was not up to what we expected it to be, because the head coach of a newly promoted team just promoted a team, and then you travel. I've been away for some time, and when I came back, it was just a week for the tournaments to begin. But now that we fought hard, and then we escaped the relegation battle, and we maintained our space in the first division, I think we're going to go back to the drawing board and then start the early preparation.
Now, let's talk about the big match tomorrow, the FA Cup final. Your team was first involved, but they don't drop out of the competition. And now you have reached the final stage where you have BYC, the title holders, going against Liscal FC. Tell us, what do you make of tomorrow's final?
For me, I think tomorrow game will be very fascinating. I think we're going to get good football play. And from what happened with the BYC situation, I think you've been following, since they dismissed their coach, Raul Latte, one of the best coaches in Liberia. They've been struggling for a time. No disrespect to Samuel Smooth. He's been a great coach, with great character. But I think mentally I play on the players, and I think they went 4 games on the way, and they've been drawing most of the games. So I think, but equally so, tomorrow is another ball game. I think the player within themselves, in my own mind, they're going to go all there to push very high, because I think that's the large chance they got, that opportunity. I think they're going to go all there to fight for it. But with looking at Lisca, well organized, well structured, and the coach together, very tactical, I think the game going to be very interesting tomorrow.
Now, looking at their semi-final matches, Liscal FC defeated a top side LPRC others 2-0 in the semi-final to progress to the final. And BYC, on the other hand, in the semi-final, came from a goal down to defeat NPA Anchors. A late goal when they thought that they were already out. So, looking at the two teams, their opponents are defeated in the semi-final, and looking at the both of them now in the final, who do you think is the favorite to win the title?
For me, I think tomorrow game is very open. So I'm not going to predict the winner for here, but I think tomorrow game is open, because looking at player by player position, I think both teams they got quality players, because BYC got a lot of players on national team, like one Lisca FC. So I think a lot of maturity going to be in the game. Like I said, the game going to be very interesting, and I think it's going to be open. For me, I think the best team for tomorrow will carry the day.
Now, looking at Liscal FC, Christopher Jackson has been that top player in form, and as a matter of fact, he's the high goal scorer currently in the FA Cup, scoring 7 goals in 3 games. Tell us, what do you make of Christopher Jackson, the BYC defense? Eugene is one of those good defenders, but right now he's on trial out of the country in Belarus, and you now have Prince Jeto alongside another defender who will be in the center half of BYC. Do you think they will be able to contain Christopher Jackson?
Yeah, like I said again, since the departure of Raul Latte, it been difficult for BYC, because when they went to Nima FC, the defense, they had a little problem over there. People that I see play more in attack, or even playing in the holding position. But it can happen on another day. Maybe Christopher might not be up to the task for that day, and I think BYC can go out there and see how best they can maintain him. But again, Christopher is a good striker, and everyone knows that he's very clinical in front of the goal. He got good composure when he's in the box, and I think yeah, he's going to go out there tomorrow. He got a lot to prove, right? Currently, he's the top goal scorer in the league, and I think tomorrow he's going to go out there to fight for everything to see how best he can carry his goal off.
PYC on the other hand, you're talking about Choco Myers, talking about Ketu Jebo. Ketu Jebo is that player who usually takes the ball from the center, carry off from to his point crackers, and Choco Myers, Mustafa Lumel, those are crackers that are there to do the finishing touches. Do you see Choco Myers as a threat to PYC tomorrow, or perhaps Ketu Jebo as that player that needs to be contained by this KMTV defense?
Again, they both think like I said, they both think are quality players, right? In terms of player attacking with the ball, good quality on the ball. Yeah, Ketu is very fantastic. I coached him before with Monserrado, brilliant kid, good control, and you can eliminate anybody at any time. Then what Lescar got players that in Liberia football myself, I can say I get two players that I admire in the country. Okay, like Sam Johnson, he's my own personal player that I like his style of play, and Lana, right?
Edward Lindner.
Okay, so the both of them, they're players that you have to watch out for. On a good day, they're gonna punish your team. So both teams got players that can carry the ball to any defense and cause a lot of problem for them. So Lescar with the two players on the wing, I think they're gonna cause a lot of problem tomorrow.
So who do you think between BYC and this guy is going to dominate the play within the midfield? Although you keep saying that the two teams have good players, of course, which of course we know, but looking at the two teams' current performance right now, who do you think is going to take control of the midfield?
Again, I don't know, because the semi-final game when I watched Lescar play LPRC Honors, and I watched BYC play. BYC play 3 at the back and 5 in midfield. Okay, so I don't know whether they're going to stick with that same formation that they will dominate more in midfield, or they're going to change the tactics tomorrow. And Lescar play 4 at the back, 3 in midfield, and 3 up front. Okay, so if BYC going to come with 5 in midfield, obviously, and they got the quality of player that they're going to dominate in that midfield tomorrow. But if for whatever reason they change the game plan and come up with the same system with Lescar, or maybe they go with 4-4-2, 4-4-2, then it's going to be a different ball game.
To the coaching tactics as well, Tafa Mane is that coach who has been into 8 FA Cup finals, both Gambia and Liberia, 5 in Gambia and 3 in Liberia. Now going to his 10th successive FA Cup final. He's that coach that is not very overwhelmed by top players or perhaps top performing players. Now looking at him and also looking at the caretaker coach of BYC, Samuel Sumo, do you think Samuel Sumo will be able to bring out that best team or perhaps draw the best formation and tactics to help BYC retain a title tomorrow?
Yeah, I think Sumo will do well because every coach before the game, you get a game plan. So if I go into a game where with Lescar FC and I've been following Lescar play, I know more often Lescar defend well, and the coach he doesn't like to concede goal, so he try to protect his goalpost. So and Small, he been around for some time. I think he got a lot of experience working with the Lego Rawa. I work with him as well, and he been to so many finals as well. So I don't think a lot of pressure going to be on him, and I think he's just going to go there and go his game plan and see how well they come out tomorrow.
Now, what's about Tafa Mane? Looking at his tactics, and he said his focus right now, like the both of them said their focus are on the FA Cup, but for Tafa Mane, that's his favorite trophy since he's been coaching. So how do you think he's going to join his team tomorrow? Although sometimes you find some of these key players being left out of the starting team because of their performances on training section, or perhaps that player was just indisciplined in some instances. So how do you think he's going to join his team tomorrow?
Yeah, with the coach Tafa, I admire him because he won't coach a very he's like a disciplinarian, and what you prove on the practice ground. For me, that's how I grade my players from the practice ground. Then you get a chance to play. Okay, so once he follow that mentality, like it start. And going into the FA Cup final, that's one of his favorite titles he been winning, like you said, 5 in Gambia and 3 in Liberia. I think he's going to go there. He's not going to be under pressure because it's not the first time, he's standing on the line into an FA Cup final. I think tomorrow in that dressing room, he's just going to motivate his players. No pressure, go order and fight for it. They get the best result we can. We already lost the league to LPRC others, so I think this is a chance we get to to represent Liberia out there. So I think he's just going to try his players to go out there and fight for it.
I'm looking at this decision by coaches where you go for a practice section and then a particular player doesn't perform during the training section, and then after the training section, perhaps the following day you go for the game because he didn't perform in the training section, you don't take him and put him in a substitution bench or something, even leave him out of the squad. Do you think that's a good decision? You guys as coaches do sometimes? Because let's take for instance Sam Jackson from Lescott FC. In one of the matches, I think against LPRC others, he was left on the bench as a substitute, and people were complaining that why Tafa managed to leave Sam Jackson on the bench. He's a good player, but in a post-match interview, Tafa Mane said Sam was placed on the bench because he didn't perform well during the training section. But when Sam came in during that LPRC others game, I mean the whole place changed, and Lescott was able to get the equalizer in that 1-1 draw against LPRC others. So do you think that's a good decision by coaches to make that decision based on the training section or training?
I think that decision is I think it's good. For me, in my opinion, I think it's good because Anthony, let's take for example, how will you feel? We get 25 players, right?
Yep.
And you're part of the 25. You, for whatever reason, just sit home and the team practice from Monday to Friday, and then we get a game on Sunday. Then you want to come and play.
No, the player is part of the team in the training section.
Yeah, sometimes like because I spent almost 13 years in Europe, right, and playing up on to the professional scene. Okay, the coaches look for the practice, for your performance on practice ground. Okay, when you come in, what you're going to put in, going to determine your fit for the game. So if you come in for the training, because most of the players here, right, the mentality we got is I mean, it's very bad. Some people will tell you, say, oh, I can perform in practice, but only game I can perform. It's bad because what you put in there is what you get out. So if I put it 100%, if everybody is putting 100%, and you put it 50%, you think in the game you'll be able to catch up with 100%? It's not possible.
So based on the decisions, does it come as a shock sometimes where you have a particular player who performed brilliantly during the practice section, but unfortunately during the game, you just lost focus, you don't get what you really expected from him?
Yeah, sometimes it's happen. Sometimes it's happen. Like if I'm on the team and I'm not a regular player, but then for that weekend and on the practice ground, I try to put in everything, and then the coach try to give me a game. Sometimes you get match rusty, just sitting on the bench, you're not playing, and it's frustrating because everybody want to play, but you want it so that only 11 players can partake in a game. So sometimes you get a shock, and it happens.
You're watching KMTV Sports Plus with me, Anthony Kokoi, and I do have in studio as my guest Emmett Glasgow, the president of the Liberia Football Coaches Association and also head coach of Nimad FC, newly promoted first division side, and they have also survived relegation in this year's edition of the National League. And we are talking about a bid up. We are on bid up to the FA Cup final slated for tomorrow at the Anthony Tottenham Stadium, where title holders BYC will be going up against Lescott FC in the final. Let's now take this commercial break. When we come back, we're going to continue with our discussion. Keep watching. Welcome back and thanks for rejoining. Like I said, I have in studio Emmett Glasgow, and of course he's the first vice president of the Liberia Football Coaches Association instead of president, like I said. So, Coach Glasgow, back to our discussion, talking about tomorrow's final, let's go back to the defense of the two teams, BYC and Leska. In the lead, BYC and Leska FC, sometimes they struggle with their defense, and now they both of them are meeting each other. Although the last time they met in the final was the Super Cup where BYC defeated Leska FC 2-1, but in the league, the last time they met was in April at the Bluefield where Leska FC won 2-1. So now looking at tomorrow's final, looking at the two teams' defense, what do you make of the defense?
For now, because BYC already used to admire the defense with Tia Dennis and Eugene. I don't know how they're going to play tomorrow because I think I understand that Swings are. He's under the country. I don't know whether Tia will be in the game for tomorrow. But I think Leicester too get a very good defense, and like that guy, he's very very experienced and mature. He been around with the national team. He been out there, so I think he's gonna game. I don't think again I'm going to put him on a lot of pressure because he has passed that stage of pressure. I think for me, if looking at the two defense for tomorrow, I think Leicester get a better defense to maintain BYC for tomorrow.
What do you make of Ketu Jebu, or not Ketu Jebu, or Prince Jetu in BYC defense? He has been there for BYC in several finals as well. So what do you make of him in tomorrow's final if he's afforded the opportunity to play?
I think he's been given the opportunity tomorrow to play. I think he got a lot to prove with the absence of players that people looking forward to. I think he will go out there to do his best and remain focused as usual. And for the short time he been playing, he been excellent. So I think he's just going to go there and do his best.
Now back to the midfield. In Leska's midfield, you have Curtis Kuhn, who was signed for Monroe Club Brewers, and you also have Edward Leonard on the side. You have several players in the center as well for BYC. Talking about Yaya Belete, Abdullah Yaya Belete, Benjamin Bemin, who just returned from India. So looking at the two midfield, who do you think is going to be the standout in tomorrow's match individually?
I see because BYC midfield Yaya, he's very physical. He move around. He got the energy to move around, and with the leg of Benchimo, he's very tactical. He passes very clinical, and he's got complete touches on the ball. And in Leicester midfield, one of the players I really do admire is Little Morgan, Mickey Morgan.
Mickey Morgan.
Okay, he's the kind of player sit back, just receive the ball and do a lot of distribution. I think tomorrow in our midfield will be very, very fascinating, very, very. And if the two teams and individual players are on top of the game, I think BYC midfield going to dominate for me. With the leg of Benjamin, in our midfield, I think they're going to.
So you think BYC is going to take control of the midfield due to the presence of Benjamin Bemin, Yaya Belete? But looking at Leicester on the other hand, those young midfielders like Mickey Morgan that you mentioned, and also talking about Benjamin Doe, they may not be that experienced as compared to BYC players, but the last time they met, those were the two players that scored the two goals for Leicester FC, and Leicester FC won 2-1.
Yeah, but Anthony, that was last time. So tomorrow going to be another day. So like I say, the two teams, if for whatever reason the players are on top of the game, I think Benchimo, he got a lot of experience. He been around for a while now, and they're gonna find out. I don't think they're going to put him under pressure. Okay, so when he into himself tomorrow, where he get Yaya in the midfield doing all the running around and giving him the opportunity to play, that free role that he can play, I think tomorrow they will get good chance in that midfield.
Now, Choco Myers and Mustafa Lomel, who do you think is the best person to start in tomorrow's final, looking at the two players' performances? Mustafa Lomel just scored in the last game for BYC.
All love with the coach decision, but for me, I do admire Choco because he's not the kind of player that he want to dribble and stuff like that. He's the kind of player where if attacker is, to score goals. So
But sometimes he makes a whole lot of goals.
yeah,
before
but
scoring.
a good miss or a good scorer. So Manchester when I'm playing about attacker, I miss, and that's the beauty of the game.
So do you think that would be favorable for the team where you are playing a final and then your team need goals and then you're missing a whole lot of goals?
Anthony, which one of the player will leave their house today and say, I'm going to play today to just miss for my team? You're going to go help your team. But these opportunities are, I know it comes sometimes, when you're sitting out there and you're not on the field, sometimes when the ball passes, everybody, oh, you just missed that goal, you just score. Yeah, but he kicked and goalkeeper saved. Do you call that miss?
Sometimes those balls travel over the crossbar. Sometimes just little touches needed to enter in the
Anthony,
goal net. But
you play the game. I saw you play, but where you play way number 2, man. Yeah, I know people complain a lot that Choko missed a lot of goals, but he scored. Equally so he scored a lot of goals. And I think tomorrow game is very crucial. So sometimes the kids when they in front of the goal pole, they behave, very inexperienced, but I think Choco too been around. He understands the league and he know the importance of the FA Cup and going against Liska. Every striker that will be playing against Liska will look for that one opportunity, and when they get that opportunity, they have to make use of it. Likewise to send to Christopher Jackson tomorrow. I think if he get that opportunity, he's a player too that miss, but he score goals. So tomorrow their focus will be to help the team to get to represent Liberia all there.
now looking at the goalkeeping side of it, for BYC you have Isiaka Jallo and you have Abdullah Koulibaly, former of Monrovia Club Brewers. Koulibaly is very good when it comes to footwork. Sometimes he even takes penalty like he did on Monrovia Club Brewers. So looking at tomorrow's final, the both of them are very good on the field. But when it comes to the footwork, Abdullah Koulibaly has an edge over Isiaka Jallo. So who do you think is the best goalkeeper to start in tomorrow's final for BYC?
I would look at Koulibaly for tomorrow game because I think to build up, like you said, he got very good field work. If you want to build out, you have to start from the back before you can move forward. So with the quality you just explained, I think it will be a better choice.
Now for Liska, you have Ashley Williams, you have Tommy Songo, the both of the national team goalkeepers. And you also have Ama Mo, who has been afforded the opportunity of recent keeping 2 clean sheets, 3 good goalkeepers. So who do you think Liska FC or Tapa manage to use in goal post tomorrow?
I think the choice, I think that would be difficult tomorrow for the coach because the 3 goalkeepers, they are very excellent, and you get 2 there on the national team. But again, like we were just discussing previously, like it depends on the practice ground. See who's going to be putting more, time, and who's going to be at the best for practice ground. Then you make a decision, you make your choice. But if I were in my position, I was in that position for tomorrow, I think I'm going to stick with Tommy.
Tommy Songo.
Yeah, for me. Not the coach decision.
But he has a personal coach.
Yeah.
So if you were the head coach of Liska FC, for the 2 teams, first beginning of Liska FC, what formation will you use in tomorrow's final?
Tomorrow, that's a tough one, but not only because I love attacking game. Most of my games I go to it with 4-3-3, and when I see the team in the tactics, or I look at the coach that I'm going against, and maybe that coach is doing changing man for me, but not changing formation, and I need to score goal, and I can reverse the system to 4-4-2. But tomorrow game, everybody have to be careful. You don't want to concede early goals and then start struggling to fight back. So I think the 2 teams tomorrow, I can see the both teams going 4-3-3 tomorrow.
Although you have said it's an open game, so it's difficult for you to predict, but I mean, honestly, when you look at the 2 teams, definitely there's one person that you will point out to that this person is definitely going to win this match tomorrow. So finally, who do you think is going to win tomorrow's FA Cup?
I think so. Tomorrow game is, for me, it's an open game because most of the time when I predict, it don't even happen. So I don't want to come here and say Leicester going to win or BYC going to win tomorrow.
But who do you think is the closest favorite in winning the title? Looking at the team's performance of their last 5 games.
Like yeah, okay, because like I said previously, like BYC been struggling for some time now since the departure of Rawa. They went to 4 of the games and they drew all. Like while Leicester been winning, I think the confidence is high, but that's another tournament. The FA Cup is different. Okay, so I think I'll give Leicester FC the edge for tomorrow.
Leicester FC going for their 4th title.
Yeah.
Well, he's Emmett Glasgow, head coach of Limad FC, first vice president of Liberia Football Coaches Association. He has been our guest here on this beat-up edition of KMTV Sports Plus, looking at the FA Cup final slated for tomorrow at the Antoinette Tottenham Stadium. Of course, those games are going to be broadcast on KMTV Sports, talking about the female edition as well, where Blanco FC are going up against F Angels in the Women's Football FA Cup final. So again, we'd like to say many thanks to Coach Emmett Glasgow for honoring our invitation onto this edition of the show. On behalf of the entire team here, my name is Anthony Kokoi, but before we go, let's recap some of the stories we've been looking at in today's edition of the program. We're beginning with the FA Cup final, where, like I just said, Sunday BYC will be going up against Leicester FC at the Antoinette Tottenham Stadium in this year's edition of the FA Cup final. In other developments, national team head coach Thomas Kojo has been handed a 4-match ban for abusive language during Liberia's versus DR Congo match. And elsewhere, Monrovia Football Academy is set to participate in the 2019 USA Cup after they were invited by Minnesota United, a Major League Soccer club there in the United States. Well, we say many thanks to you for joining us on today's edition of KMTV Sports Plus. Until we're back here on Saturday, you can visit our website at www.kmtvsports.com. Better still follow us on Instagram at KMTV Sports. Until then, my name is Anthony Kugwe, bidding you a pleasant weekend from Cam Johnson, Monrovia.